The bonds that you get from that close camaraderie and the kind of program that we had in Aviation Challenge, those last a lifetime.
In 1992, Brian Dudas had recently graduated from Embry-Riddle University with an aeronautical engineering degree, but he still had 1 year left before he could begin his pilot training with the Air Force. He was starting to feel constrained by the 9-to-5 nature of the finance job he was working. That was when a former roommate of his told him about job openings for counselors at Aviation Challenge.
Well, sir, I'd very much be interested in the position of counselor here at Aviation Challenge this summer.
So first working with Brian was an interesting experience because not only was Aviation Challenge new, but Brian took a lead role in actually developing the curriculum and trying to make the program a better place. And not normally do you see a 21, 22-year-old person want to take that type of initiative to try to build a strong program. And quite frankly, it was kind of inspiring to watch and to see happen firsthand.
After his summer Aviation Challenge, Brian began pilot training, where he received the call sign Scooby. Brian rose through the ranks of the Air Force, first flying B-1 bombers and then F-15 fighter jets. He served across Europe and the United States, flying multiple combat missions. Brian's exemplary skills as a pilot also made him an ideal Air Force flight instructor.
You don't see that many people that are really good at their flying, but everything else that they touch. And the being able to not just manage people, but be able to lead, and where people want to follow you and want to do what you say. And he had a very, very good way of doing that.
To this day, Brian still credits much of his success as an instructor in the Air Force to his summer at Aviation Challenge.
Kind of felt like those 25-year-olds I was teaching how to fly the F-15 were just like those 14-year-olds. They'd be sitting in there nodding off, and I'd pull out an old trick from an Aviation Challenge to wake them back up.
By the time of his retirement from the Air Force, Brian had reached the rank of colonel and had received numerous awards for his accomplishments. He became a pilot for Delta Airlines and chose to plant roots in Rainbow City, Alabama, with his wife of nearly 30 years, Mercedes, who he first met all those years ago at Space Camp and Aviation Challenge.
So Brian deserves to be in the Hall of Fame at Space Camp because he's the epitome of everything that program is all about.
He's the most humble individual in the world. And so you couldn't have chosen a more deserving person.
Brian, at the end of the day, sincere congratulations. I can't think of anybody else who deserves it more than you. Well done.